awesome.
Beautiful.
What a great stream so far.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at this ad.
Eric, just go.
You do realize that we don't. Never mind. Just go.
Eric, just go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FIMU Alpha LCS Championship Week 5 review show.
Recap.
Asian recap, yes. With me today is Rich the Trash Can, otherwise known as Lucida. My name is Fleeing Panda. Also with us is Jirachi, and Piper is a special guest
hold
today.
on. Why am I Rich the Trash Cannon? What was I? Wait. What is this discrimination?
You're Rich the
In
Trash Can.
other news today,
We're featuring a non-Asian on the Asian recap.
yes, indeed. So, first off, we're going to start with the previous week's results. So this is the Week 5 results. Keep in mind, we are in the middle of Week 6 at the moment. The matches were Passive-Aggressive Red Pandas played 9-inch Torpedoes. Passive-Aggressive Red Pandas pulled the 2-0 win. The next match was Team Solo Feed versus Tilted Torpedoes, and that was also a 2-0 win for Team Solo Feed. Seven Shades of Greg split the points with Chase Squad, and Team Foreskin also split points with 3 Pump Chumps. Gentlemen, what did you think of those matches?
Way to throw everything on us all at once while I'm still typing.
Oh, I have a lot of feelings about this week in particular.
I'm going to start out by Team Foreskin versus 3VC. A, dear God. B, I think that was our first forfeit of the season. But also,
Fuck Comcast.
yeah, I have my thoughts on that, which maybe shouldn't be going out on stream, but it's okay because Zalugo pulled out Echo ADC and wrecked faces. Like,
It wasn't ADC though, because he still built AP.
Echo bottom lane.
I mean, that's
Echo wherever
it's
the
almost
hell.
equivalent as Ziggs ADC. You know, there's
I mean,
still
that's
AD
true.
carry.
You still
Yeah.
call it ADC, yeah.
But moving on, we had Seven Shades of Grey versus Chase Squad, which is our team. We had a 1-1 tie. The game were pretty close. First game, the battle of the tanks, and the second game, the Chase Squad came back stronger than ever, tying them for the week.
Also, Hansu went off on Elise the second game.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
I
But-
was.
Moving on to the team Solo Feed versus Tilted Torpedoes. Once again, very solid team. Team Solo Feed managed to grab. Yes, Team Solo Feed managed to grab 2-0 win against Tilted Torpedoes. I don't know what Tilted Torpedoes doing right now. I don't know if they're memeing or they're just like. No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I just hope they get their better communication and just perform a lot better. I just want to see them perform a lot better than they're doing right now. I have hopes of them.
Alright, and well, I guess we're going backwards now, but Parp versus 9-inch Torpedoes, again, Parp kind of actually getting back into form the past 2 weeks before week 5. They didn't look quite as good. I know Ali, kind of behind the scenes, Ali was having some issues, but Greg ended up substituting, and they got the 2-0. They appear to be back in form. 990 actually, Adam pulling out, I believe he was the first one to pull out Kane this split, and he looked pretty good on it actually. But yeah, that was not a wrapping up at all. But just go, Panda. Save the stream.
Yeah,
well,
Save the stream.
I mean, a couple thoughts on Tilted Torpedoes. I think they got some pretty strong individual players. Looking for them to kind of pull it together because they have the
Definitely.
guys that could really make something happen, but it just hasn't happened yet. Well, moving on into our standings. After that, this is actually the current standings as of right now. As of right now, Team Solo Feed is in first place in the standings with 12 points. Yeah. Passive Aggressive Red Pandas is right behind them on their tails at 11 points. Three Pump Chumps has 8 points, pretty solidly in third place. Cass's Shoe Shop has 7, and they are in a tie with 7 Shades of Greg, who also has 7 points. Team Foreskin is right on the bubble for the playoffs at 4 points. Right,
6 points.
6
Six.
points. Blah, 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 blah. I saw the 4. I read 4. You know,
That's
it
why
happens.
I'm here.
Boy. Piper's not here to provide analysis. He's just here to correct Panda when Panda fucks up.
Pretty much. And
Which
this is
is
a PG-friendly
often.
channel, so we don't say words like that. In
Anyways,
7th
moving on.
place, right below that playoff bubble, is Chase Squad, hot on Foreskin's tail. Following Chase Squad is the 9-inch Torpedoes with 3 points.
Hold on.
And then, pulling up the end of this train, are those Tilted Torpedoes with the Torpedo himself, with a grand total of 1 point. So, yeah,
One.
Tilted Torpedoes, we're looking at you guys to get some more points.
Yeah, Team
and-
Solifid is very solid point. I'll go first. Team Solifid is very solid team. So is Parp. Their ticket to playoff is secured. They're done. They're done. So they're already up there. They're great. However, CSS 7 Shades of Grey, Team Foreskin, Chase Squad, 9-inch Torpedo still have a chance. They may make it or they may not make it depending on how they perform in the next few games. So it's anybody's game at this point. However, Tilted Torpedoes, I feel very, very, very.
They're memeing.
Uh,
Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like we've hit the point they're memeing a little bit, and also they've ruined Diana's 100% win rate. So yeah, they can all go die in a
I don't
hole.
mind that. Like Eric said, I don't like each player has potential to do great things. Team wise, they have very questionable calls and macro movement, but with a one grand total, as Eric said, of 1, they're at the last place and they're not looking great for the playoffs.
Yeah, and you mentioned TSF and PARP. We are kind of. I mean, technically, we could drop out of playoffs, but yeah, it's looking. I'm gonna toot my own
Yeah.
horn. Screw it. Like, yeah, it looks like we're gonna be in playoffs, pretty much guaranteed. But 3PC,
I mean,
3PC aren't a lock, but I really think they will make playoffs. They have a really good chance. They're looking. They're looking better as they sort out kind of their role swap, whatever. And I think Belling Bison, well, former Belling Bison, now Skurenson. We'll get to that later. But
I thought
he's
it was Smorgasbord.
Smorgas.
That's what we said. Smorgasbord.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, though.
He's looking solid in the middle lane. He's not like the star carry, but he doesn't need to be. He's just staying in the middle lane and not losing horrendously, which, I mean, that's
That could be
with-
pretty
with-
impressive compared to who he's playing against. you
yeah.
know?
With how stacked the middle lane is, it's like, yeah, if you can not get crushed by J-Rar, then you're doing something right. But yeah.
If I can offer some insight into this, being a member
Yeah.
of the roster, when we first came up with the roster swap, we were like, we need to have some John in a role where he can still put out a lot of damage, but be able to play safe. And so that's why we were like, well, let's put him in the mid lane. There are a lot of control mages there where he's able to play safely, but still put out a lot of damage and have a lot of meaningful impact. And so we've been practicing a lot of these picks as a team. And then Lugo and I have kind of been swapping back and forth between jungle and AD carry, depending upon what our strategy calls for. And everyone else is pretty good where they are. So we just kind of have an adaptive strategy here.
And I'm telling you, 3PC is the ultimate flex team.
Yes.
Yeah,
true.
actually.
We not only flex our picks, we flex our players.
No, but seriously,
I
that's really-
actually thought you were going to go a different direction with
No,
that.
no, same. I was like, this is PG. You already
So we're gonna be flexing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh god,
So
I had a thought, and then Piper screwed it up. I blame Piper. No, but yeah, 3PC looks like they'll be in playoffs. The last 3 spots are not guaranteed whatsoever. 9IT and Chase Squad can both surpass really any of these 3 teams if Team Foreskin doesn't pick it up. I think they haven't been. Let me double check, but they haven't. let me see. Yeah, their last 3 weeks, well, including week 6, were a loss, a tie, a loss, and then a tie before that. They haven't picked up a win since week 2. So if they don't get back on it, Chase Squad, if Chase Squad or 9IT can pick up some wins, they actually both are down 1 or 2 matches actually played for the split. Team Foreskin has played all 6 for the 6 weeks. Chase Squad has 5, 9IT has 4. So if either of those teams pick up a couple wins, Team Foreskin could be, or CSS or 7SG actually could be out of playoff contention.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. 9IT, even Tilted Torpedoes, they got a couple games in hand over Team Foreskin, where if they start picking up these wins, they're gonna shoot up the standing tables. So, moving on, it looks like we have our OP5, which is a new thing that the presenters have put together. The OP5, actually, this isn't the new. I'm thinking of something else. Oh well,
I don't know.
OP5. Yeah.
He's a panda. Don't expect him to understand things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man.
Alright, well, anyways, the OP5 for this week, the presenters have chosen Caleb Blackie-Chan, Blackistran, I don't know what you want to say, with an honorable mention of Light Pulse 94 and our favorite pal, Sal, Allergic to Milk.
Oh, God.
Definitely not Sal, but actually Sal, allergic
Actual
to milk.
Sal.
Actual Sal, definitely not Sal, which I think needs to switch, but we'll get into that later.
But I know you guys can't see the stream, but I typed Blackie Chan, not actually an Asian.
Yeah.
It's staying up. I don't care what anyone says, it's staying up like that.
Alright, so any thoughts on the top lane selection for the OP5?
We know him as Caleb. In Caster World, we know him as the Pun Lord. And in top lane, we know him as a flexible beast. I've seen him pull out Aatrox and Olaf this week, and his performance has been very solid. With damage potential and just macro with teleport, he was making a lot of work. He was creating that giant gap between the top lane, between the kills and the CS pressure. He was just making plays both in lane and macro. He well deserved that OP5 selection for this week. He's been doing excellent during the split, and I hope he's going to do a fantastic job in the future as well. And we have Light Pulse 94, aka Sebastian. Welcome back, buddy. I missed you. I missed triple banning you. I missed you, buddy. So Light Pulse 94 is back in business, and his first game, returning game, was fantastic. Very solid. Very, very confident with the team, considering this is the first time they played in the split together. And I can't wait to see the development for Sebastian's growth in the team. If the Piper wants to comment on anything about Sebastian's rejoining the group, now will be a good time to talk about it.
Yeah, he's pretty much just a Jace one trick, so if you ban that out, that's all you need to ban, honestly.
Jace Alawi Vladimir Wukong quad trick.
No, it's just Jace. It's just Jace.
No, his champion pool is not as small as people think it actually is. I played with the guy last split.
You're ruining my plan!
Anyways, moving on, and we got another honorable mention of our favorite pal, South is Pal, Allergic to Milk, who is a ADC player for Chase Squad, but somehow moved to top lane for the flex. I am not sure. I'm on the team. I don't know why he did that, but he did that. But as Jarvan on the second game against the Seven Shades of Grey, he had incredible one-shot potential to the mid lane and other laners as well. So he created a large pressure for the team, and pressure and the damage, and pushing them through the Nexus for the second game. That's why he deserves honorable mention as well.
Agreed. Also, don't forget Sal's game reviews. Read all 5 of them.
Oh my.
Wait,
anyways.
5 of them? I'm sorry. You can go on. I'm going to have to read that later.
It's either 5 or 4. I don't know. We want more game reviews is the main thing. Anyways, in the jungle, we have our boy Lucida with an honorable mention going to Bounty 1012.
Yeah, as I finish typing this up. But yeah, Hansu, game 1 wasn't like amazing, but he was solid, but like nothing stand out. And then game 2, he got Elise and was just all over the map. He was ganking all over the place. He had like 90% kill participation for most of the game until like team fights happened. And he just created so much pressure and got his lanes just snowballing so hard. And like the lanes themselves were the ones snowballing. He had 1 kill and like way too many assists. So he's getting the lane snowballing in that one game. No one really like across any of the teams, across any of the roles, really had like a super standout performance. So if you have like a standout game and a solid performance like Elucida did, I think that's enough to push him into OP5. And then for honorable mention, Bounty 1012, he had again he's been solid this entire split. When you look at our team, you're like, okay, Chris is insane in mid lane, bot's strong. Top and jungler the weakness, right? Well, our weakness has actually been super solid, and Bounty we've put him on tank junglers for the split, and he's been doing his job. He's been soaking up so much damage in team fights, and he's been a rock when you look at our team, and he should be a weak point. So, and he continued it this week, so props to him.
Right, yeah, his Sejuani has been really strong recently. He's also pulled out some Gragas plays and making sure he hits those skill shots. Anyways, moving on to the mid lane, we have our league commissioner, Gerg7, subbing in for Violet Sociocat for passive aggressive Red Panda. Picking up that Lux and the Xerath in the mid lane. That was pretty impressive. Also, an honorable mention going to Packer Diehard 12.
My favorite trash man, Gerg7. Hey! With that being said, I cannot understand why the other team didn't ban Xerath and Lux. That's the thing about Greg is his style is control mages. That's what he does best. Giving that to him, just like hand planing him, oh, here's an open Xerath for you. It's like, that's also like another way of saying, oh, you can carry your team. Here you go. We just threw a plate of nice buffet and you can have it all. Yes. And as he got Xerath and Lux, he just continued to push, apply pressure to the mid lane, roamed, apply pressure to the bot lane. His kill potential, his damage was just outstanding. And the fact that Ali was he was a sub for Ali, which Ali's shot calling is incredibly well. But the fact that he synergized well with the team, even with the absence of Ali, that is really, really impressive to me. So good job, Greg. Packer Diehard 12. He was the ADC sub last season, I believe. Twitch main.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Yeah, if I'm
something like that.
He moved on to the mid lane, and he is stronger than ever. He's very solid in whatever matchup that he faces. And to be honest, I haven't really seen him as a mid player, but the more I look at him, the more solid, more consistent, the more constant damage that he can put out in Summoner's Rift. And he's been doing an excellent job in the past week, and especially this week, continue to dish out, pressuring the enemy team, and getting those pressure and damage for the team. So he deserves an honorable mention for this week's mid lane OP5.
Yeah, and Packer against Chase Squad, game 1, they tied the series, but game 1 was the game that 7SG won. His Orianna was really good. Like, he was landing great shockwaves in team fights. It was like pretty consistently 3-man shockwaves. Even when it wasn't a 3-man shockwave, it was like 2-man. It's like he really did his job in fights.
I remember that as well. Protecting Caitlyn in game 1 with a shield, as well as protecting and damaging the team with incredible shockwaves. Literally, I was facing them, and the next thing you knew, we were screaming, "Oh my god, that's a shockwave!" And we were all panicking. Next thing you know, we were dead.
Yeah,
he did an excellent job zoning and putting out damage, protecting the carries, all at the same time.
Yeah, and this is kind of a theme this week where the OP5 had like the OP5 picks themselves had like two really good games, and then the honorable mentions had one basically. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So moving on, we're going down to the bot lane. First, we'll start with the ADCs. This week's
quote unquote.
ADC, yeah, quote unquote, we're getting there. Quote unquote ADC OP5 this week was This Is Lugo playing that one game in the bot lane on Echo. Yeah, I think that's all we need to say. Honorable
Yeah.
mention. Honorable mentions go to Opie and Jirachi for both having really solid games.
I mean, how do you? I play Echo a lot, and the fact that he brought Echo down into bot lane is just like at the same one. In one part of myself is very admiring, very inspirational for Echo mains out there, and the other half is like, why? Just he made
Do
it
you
work.
want to know why? 'Cause
I do
can
not want to
give
know why.
insight.
I do not want to know why, but all you have to know is he pulled it off, and he did so much work with that Echo. Echo ADC, everyone. New LCS meta. Watch out, world. Watch out, ranked.
What is
This
the-
is the new Not Blue 3. This is Lugo. CYS sign, ladies and gentlemen. CYS sign. And for the honorable mention for OP5, we got Opie, who played Caitlyn for.
No, we're done. Bye.
Who played Caitlyn for 7 Shades of Grey against Chase Squad, I believe, and staying in the back line constantly pumping at the headshot damage. You couldn't touch him, and he just dished out damage, destroying the front line, eventually getting to the back line, carrying the team to victory. And we have, of course, MX, Mix,
That.
Rich, Mattis themselves. Oh, that's
You're getting it right, finally.
that
Yay.
dude, that phrase it took so much cognitive ability for me to say that sentence.
That's
But
because you don't have any.
thanks. It's true. What do you think I play jungle?
That's because you're a trash can.
Yeah, exactly. But very solid. Don't give him Jinx. He'll take it and he'll roam with it and
Him.
he'll go rampage.
Immediately
as
after you get it
always.
right, him.
Oh, you see what I mean? I'm telling you, my cognitive. It took so much cognitive ability to think
just,
about it.
Just keep
alright?
going. Just keep going. It's fine.
No, it's too late. I don't want to talk anymore. You ruined it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
Jirachi did an excellent job this week, just pumping on damage as usual. Jirachi is a very solid player as an ADC main, and I look forward to what he can bring in next few games. I hope he can make more flashier plays, but being consistent is also very important as well.
Also, die less times. Moving on to support,
I
we
got
have
twice this week. Excuse me.
my point
That's
exactly.
too many.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Okay.
moving on, we're
Support.
going to the support side of the bot lane. Our support OP5 choice this week was Baba Booey. Also with an honorable mention is Gert.
Yeah, Baba Booey, I mean, yes, he's my support, and maybe I'm a tiny bit biased, but dear God, don't give this guy Thresh. Tilted Torpedoes
give him
made the
Thresh.
mistake of giving him Thresh twice, and I mean, I'm sitting here doing Pickman, I'm like, literally, why? You've made a massive mistake. It's like, okay, we're gonna give this guy Thresh, and he's still just making plays happen. I'm pretty sure, both games we were going aggressive. As soon as we hit level 2, he was threatening with hook. Either he hits the hook or he threatens and just flays them, and we get massive damage. So his Thresh play has been insane this entire split, and especially game 1. It's not just landing hooks on the support side of things. He's the reason I died 0 times on Tristana. It's not like Tristana as a champion. I was getting caught out a few too many times, but just his shields and his timing on everything was perfect, and then multiple times I'm saying they're just like, how am I alive? So yeah, massive credits to Baba Booey. He's been solid and consistent all split and a playmaker. And then for honorable mention, we do have Gert. The second game I believe he played Braum it was good. It wasn't amazing, but the Tom Kench game 1, it was like Baba Booey. It was like he was everywhere he needed to be. He was saving people's ass, and Just
Mhm.
really good. Just a really good game from him. And continuing the theme, Baba Booey had 2 great games. Gert had 1 great game. So
Again, yep.
we give the nod to Matt.
All right, so moving on, we have our sub of the week. Sub of the week, I don't think it has to be said any other else, but Gerg7, commissioner himself, in the mid lane, jumping in and helping Parp get to that 2-0. Also, we have an honorable mention for Alistair Moody, who was a last-minute addition to 3 pump jumps when they had connection issues. So Alistair Moody, putting in a really strong game at the last minute, gets our honorable mention.
Yeah, and I want to say something about Alistair Moody because I would argue that he would make a great case for it if Greg hadn't gone the 2-0. But like the thing is, I think with Greg it was kind of like prearranged already that he would sub for them, whereas Alistair Moody, like, we were literally like, we don't have his support. Quick, put up the bat signal, and like. He just answered the call, like dove through the window, and he's like, "Did somebody need me?" And like, huge thank you to him for just coming in on like literally a moment's notice and subbing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even just like, oh, the last minute sub. He did really well in this game. He died, I believe, 0 times.
Yeah, he went perfect.
He had, I'm going to just double check these stats to make sure I'm not wrong, but he died 0 times, had the highest kill participation of the entire team that game as the guy coming in the last minute to sub. It's like, you really can't ask for much more out of the guy just coming in out of the blue.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I was on the opposing end of that Alistair Moody sub, and I think one of the main issues we had in our bot lane was, the positioning of both players was just so impeccable that we couldn't step up to get minion waves, which is why This Is Lugo ended up getting so far ahead in CS. We just couldn't do much, because we'd get headbutted or stunned or whatever, So, props to Alistair Moody, props to Gerg7 for being our subs of the week. Moving on, this is the new thing that I was going on about earlier. Yeah, it's our tier lists. So, the tier lists are our presenters' choices. What we're looking for as presenters, we're looking for players that have large champ pools, good macro play, and overall lane strength / ability to win the lane and snowball it into the later game. So, starting then, our tier lists for the A tier list for the top lane is passive aggressive Red Panda's Blackish Strand. Also, Tilted Torpedoes Sayato. I must add, we're going to do each week. We're going to do one lane. So this week's top lane, next week jungle, and so on and so forth. Right.
Oh my God! Autocorrect wants to change Blackish to Black Tran.
Should be Blackie Chan. Anyways, the reason we chose Blackie Strand and Sayato as the top laners for the A tier list is one, Blackie Tran consistently breaks open the game in the top lane, usually winning his lane hard and creating side lane pressure almost always. And then Sayato, if you give him stupid things like Yorick or Gurgot, he does the exact same thing.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about Blackish already with the OP5, but Saito, I feel like he's been flying under the radar a little bit. He's had some excellent performances as Urgot and Yorick on a team that, I mean, it's his team sitting in last place and he still looks good. Like, that's I think that's pretty hard to do, and he's been doing what he can to pull out some wins, and I believe the one win they got was off the back of just a monster Yorick game.
Right, yeah. So, in the B tier list, we have Team Solo Feeds, Garfield Juice, 3 Pump Chumps, Light Pulse 94, and Team Foreskin's Fish Baby Bot. So these are the players that are, again, they have the large champ pools, they have the good macro play, and more often than not, they win their lane, so they have really a good overall strength in the lane, but they are not exactly the players that are going to completely break open a game. consistently. At least that's the presenters. It's what we have decided as a group.
Yeah, Garfield Juice and Fish Baby Bot, those two feel like kind of they do different versions of the same thing. Fish Baby Bot goes for more carries, Garfield Juice more for tanky champions in the top lane, but they both are just really consistent in the top lane. They never really get smashed in lane. They do their jobs on different types of champions, and for Light Pulse, he's only been back a week. We think he has the potential to be A tier. He's only played one game though. He hasn't shown enough for us to be like, wow, yeah, he deserves to be bumped up. But if he goes off a few games this week or next week, then he could absolutely go up.
Yeah. If I may offer a little bit of insight here.
No.
Okay, fuck you.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, from what I've seen from these guys, Garfield Juice seems to be really consistent in the top lane. You know, he usually plays like something either like tanky or Juggernaut,
That's
just
the
to
word I was
soak up
looking
damage
for, yeah.
for like, you know, the carry backline of yourself and Crit. Stop saying things before I could say them.
No.
What are you talking about?
But anyway, but yeah, he does that really well. It's not necessarily that he like is going to absolutely stomp his lane, but he's also not going to outright lose it either most of the time. Sebastian, he's been back for a week. I've loved having him back. It's really nice to have, you know, his ability to carry from the top lane a lot as well. And he's also showing off some of these other picks that in practices anyway. So you haven't seen like all of it. He just busted out the Wukong that one game. And that's actually kind of like his counter pick to the Camille. He actually does really well with Wukong into the Camille because he's able to get out favorable trades, as you saw in the game between Team Foreskin. Now, the thing about Max, I've been doing with him for a long, long time. Very good personal friend of mine. And the thing about him is he can play anything. And he can play anywhere. The reason he's playing top lane is because, you know, Team Foreskin needed a top laner to fill in. But honestly, he's actually a mid lane main. And I mean, he plays a lot of AD carry, he plays a lot of support, he plays a lot of jungle. He literally plays everything. So he has a really good understanding of the game and how it should be played. And so for him, he just is able to bring that knowledge to wherever he is in the map. And I think that's why he's really consistent where he's at.
Yeah,
that was a long tangent, but
no, those are pretty good insights. All right, so moving on to our C tier list. These are some guys that we feel like they have good play. Every once in a while, they win a lane, but it's not very consistent. So these are the guys that are a bit more inconsistent with their play. So starting with the C tier list, Chase Squad's Guy Fury / mid. I don't really know if we're going to leave Guy Fury there, if we're going to move him around, because I think he's played more games in the mid lane.
Yeah, but also Xanacus has played more games mid than top, so it's like I don't know what's happening with Eric. Like
he's listed as the top laner, so we left him as the top laner, but the body of work, again, kind of like Light Pulse 94, is just not really there quite yet. Next, we have 9-inch Torpedo Stock Dalius. However, I think he's removing himself from the league, which we'll get to that later. Katz's Shoe Shops, Jimmy 1Y 1K, and then 7 Shades of Greg, Jingo Unchained.
Yeah, so Stock
Go ahead.
Yeah, Stock and Eric, it's kind of hard to talk about them. Neither of them have played that much, especially Eric has played, I think, 2 weeks of top lane, and I think those were weeks they were playing against really good teams. Yeah, they play against Team Foreskin and Parp. It's like, have fun looking good against like Fish Baby and Caleb, but
I can say some things.
Yeah.
I'm team with Guy Fury, and I was a team with Stock Dalius last season. Guy Guy Fieri top lane. He's not a bad player, very solid player, but sometimes he won't lose lane necessarily, but sometimes he will act on his own accord, and sometimes gets caught off doing some odd, odd things like split pushing with Lissandra question mark. And he did move to the mid lane. I think that is the permanent position as of now. That's very ironic how I said permanent as of now, but I think we're gonna move into mid lane permanently. I think
We'll figure it out by next week.
we'll figure it out by next week. Yeah, I believe he's gonna play mid next this game coming up. And Stocked Alias is his comfort picks, Nautilus and Renekton. When he plays his comfort picks, he's very solid. He knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, though, Stock CS is a little behind. It needs a bit work, and his champion pool is quite strong. But if he is given an instruction to do something, he follows them and follows them very, very well, and helping the team carry through the taking the damages from the team fight as a top lane tank.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to Jimmy and Nolan / Django Unchained. Jimmy, I'm honestly don't know what to say about him. Like it's hard for me to like really pin this guy down about much. Like he's been playing tanks recently, and he's looked fine on them. Like he's been contributing, but his CSing has not been great. He is contributing, and just a little side note about the C tier, we are by no means saying these guys are bad. It's just like there's a little bit of room to grow. But yeah, Jimmy's been playing tanks recently. He looks pretty good, but it's like I don't know.
I have to say,
yeah.
for Jimmy specifically, I think he has a tendency to fall slightly behind in gold when laning. Just the efficiency with the CS is sometimes just not there, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have him at the C list rather than the B list.
Yeah, and then for Nolan, he's a great guy and a good player. The reason I put him C tier, and I think we put him C tier, is champ pool issues. I mean, when he first started playing, I think in top lane he's only played Fiora to split because he's had a couple weeks on that, and then switched down to jungle. Oh, he's played Fiora and then won a Lowy game, but his having played with him last split, his champ pool is kind of weird. But when he gets his comfort picks, he looks good. His debut week of week 2 on the Fiora, he looked really good. He was a split pushing monster. But I think just maybe seeing a bit more, just a little bit more on more champions and a bit more consistency, and he can absolutely move up.
Right, yeah. So moving on, we have our miscellaneous news for the week. First up, we have a new champion. Kayn has been played twice already in this split. Hansu.
Hansu being one of the guys who played it.
Yeah,
Hansu doesn't want to talk about that game.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Kayn, are we talking about the champion in general?
I mean,
or
we can talk about
both?
him a little bit, sure.
Alright, Kayn's a new
also,
champion.
His where he fits in LCS.
Yeah, Kayn is a very interesting champion. As of now, we all know there are 2 forms that he can take, which is his Darkin form and Assassin. Right now, it favors Darkin form for that extra damage, percentage damage, as well as your damage heals you for, whatever damage you do, it heals you. So you're very tanky, and you dish a lot of damage. Kayn is very strong in early game, which so far in Family Alpha LCS we haven't seen much invade. I'm also guilty of this because I play Kayn, but he has a lot of potential to be able to carry early to mid game to victory. And I look forward to people learning how his kit works and utilizing him to the fullest in the last few weeks of Find Me Up for LCS.
Right. So moving on, we also had a new champ update. That being Urgot. I don't know if any. I think
Oh
the
Yeah,
god.
fuck
Yeah.
Urgot.
yeah dumb champion. Don't play him.
No, I think it's actually a really cool design. Like shotgun knees are OP as hell. Like
Not if you have a dodge mechanic. Feels bad, man.
feels bad, Jax. No, but seriously, like he's frustrating to play against. But he's just like any other Juggernaut that if you play something with range or something that can kite him out pretty well, you can just shut him down that way. So you know, just be careful of it in the top lane, I guess, if you're not playing some ranged Gnar.
Yeah, he can
Also,
he can shred people, like dear god.
Yeah, his shotgun knees do percentage health damage, so
Yeah.
gee.
Uh,
He's
it-
you can also QSS his ulti animation after he starts reeling you in. You can use the QSS or also cleanse that thing, right?
I don't know. I didn't know that was an interaction.
I don't think you
No,
can.
but no,
You can't cleanse
but-
it because it's a suppression, and you can't cleanse.
right. So, but you
suppressions.
can QSS or Gangplank W, for the execution animation. So the more you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think next up we have a few lineup changes. The first lineup change is this just in 9-inch torpedoes. Stock Dalius and Nature Dan have stepped down. I don't believe they have a top lane replacement yet. So those of you top laners out there who want to find a team, here's your chance. But Seaman is now the new starting support for 9-inch torpedoes. I'm not entirely sure why they stepped down. I do believe Stock got a new job and moved. That's part of that. But as for Dan, I really don't know.
I don't know either, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I've talked to Adam a little bit because we're actually scheduled to play against him week 7, and apparently there are just like some internal things going on. So he said that there's going to be a little bit of restructuring and revamping of the team. He's not quite sure what that's going to mean yet, whether players are going to swap positions around or something, but that seems to be what is going on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about guys leaving, but I do want to talk a little bit about Seaman coming in. He has subbed twice for them, and he already meshed with the team quite a bit. The one series they won was with Seaman subbing at support. He was meshing quite well with Sadistic, and yeah, it's if they're looking for a new support, I saw that they brought in Seaman. I was like, that makes complete sense. Like he's played with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna miss both Stock Dalius and Nature Dan, but welcome Seaman as the new starting support for 9IT. All right, moving on. We got our summoner name changes this week. We only have one. It's Bellowing Bison. He's now known as Smorgasborg or Skjorsen.
See, the actual name is Skjorensen, and I asked him about this. What it is, that is actually the sound that bisons make whenever they bellow. So he just wanted to make the literal name change. You see,
So that's the sound they make in
Because-
Swedish as they bellow,
Oh
right?
my god. Okay.
no, just everywhere.
Yes,
Everyone
everywhere.
knows that buffalo are naturally Swedish.
Yes.
Wait.
What?
Wait.
What? Okay, this
Wait.
name is even dumber now. We're moving on.
I'm
Hold on,
kidding.
hold on.
No.
No.
That is
Wait,
a total lie.
That's a
Um,
oh my
Skjorensen-
god, I hate you,
No.
Piper, I believed you.
Hold up. I think we got ourselves a new meme here, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know, fact check, did you know that all bisons are from Sweden? The more you know.
Okay, Piper.
Right, so think Piper
No, for
Isis
real,
is...
what this
Piper Isis is.
Yeah,
Yes.
what this name change is, so I'm pretty sure that John is like Danish by heritage, and his two favorite players are Bjergsen and Svenskeren. So he made a summer
Came up
name
with
that
Skjorensen.
yeah, because it's apparently like a combination of Svenskeren and Bjergsen, and
I don't know.
Danish.
I like Eric's name better.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I
I
do-
liked my original reasoning first, but whatever.
your
Yeah,
original
it's-
reasoning
yeah,
is
shut
what
up.
we're gonna go with.
Oh. Speaking of name change, what did the Bison? What did Fuck. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. I ruined the joke. Move on.
Yes,
move,
you
on
did.
move on. Move on.
Moving,
Right.
moving
The
on.
Bison.
Moving on.
Moving on
We
with this
have
train wreck.
our pocket pick of the week, Baba Booey's Thresh. which I
That's not
think
even
is-
a pocket pick. That's like literally you take it when it's up.
Yeah, so it's a it's a pocket pick, and as in it's his main, and it's not like a super meta champion, and he plays it a lot, and it is still kind of a
Not
pocket.
super meta? Are you kidding me?
Shut up.
It is
Anyways.
the highest priority in
I
LCS.
still wanted to talk about it because
Hey
it's
guys, hey
insane.
guys.
Yeah,
guys.
just
Guys.
jerk your support off even longer. Holy
Guys.
moly.
That's why I've been doing
It's
this
not.
entire
It's
podcast.
Thresh
What do you think it
isn't.
is?
Thresh is meta, but Baba Booey plays pretty well. That's the important part here.
Yeah,
Alright.
he doesn't play
Nah.
because it's meta.
He plays
Sure,
it really
Thresh-
well.
because
Sure.
he takes it to
Thresh-
a new level.
Yeah, sure. Thresh is very meta. They even ban it a lot of times in LCS, but in our situation in PMLCS, which Thresh isn't highly banned or contested, Baba Booey I'm choosing Thresh and getting performance out of it is the reason we want to give him the pocket pick of the week.
Also,
So-
shout out to Lugo taking Echo wherever he darn well pleases.
Oh, that man.
Yeah, that man with his echoes.
Exactly.
He likes the sound of his own voice. Anyways,
yeah,
upcoming.
He locked
yeah,
in
that-
Echo, and I was just like, wait, is this an Echo ADC? Oh my god, it's an Echo ADC. What am I watching?
So that pick actually wasn't like a BM or anything. He was talking about that, and he's like, at first he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play Draven," and then they didn't ban Echo, and he's like, "Wait, Alistair Moody, can you play Alistair?" And he's like, "It's in my name." And so we were like, bot lane, Echo Alistair has insane synergy, so he just locked in Echo, and that's how that went.
Right, yeah. I was on the receiving end of that. It was pretty strong. So, our upcoming matches for Week 6, keep in mind we are actually halfway through Week 6 already. No, Jirachi, we're not doing Week 7. Week 6 matchups are Team Foreskin versus 7 Shades of Greg, 3 Pump Chumps versus Passive Aggressive Red Pandas, the Tilted Torpedoes versus Chase Squad, and then 9-inch Torpedoes versus Cass's Shoe Shop. 2 of these matches have already been played. Team Foreskin and 7 Shades of Greg. 7 Shades of Greg won 0-2. 3 Pump Chumps and Passive Aggressive Red Pandas split 1-1. But we'll get into those matches in our next Week 6 review show.
Yep, Chase Squad versus Tilted Torpedo should be this Thursday. Time is not yet known.
I heard
as
a
of now.
donation, and I don't know from who, because or something, because I don't actually
Oh.
did not set that up on this particular thing. But whoever just
I can
donated,
do it though.
Well,
Right.
Jimmy just subscribed
Yeah.
to Twitch Prime.
Jimmy, thank you.
Shout
for
out
the
to
sub.
Jimmy.
Shout out, even though we totally shat on you in our tier list. Thank you for the sub.
Hey.
No, we
Hey
didn't.
man,
we didn't.
No, we
we didn't.
No, we didn't. It's fine.
We just
I
gotta
did.
Subbed.
and Rich. That's what we gotta do now. But really, thank you for your sub.
Yes.
It means a lot to us and
Everything
signing up
helps.
a league.
Yes.
Right, so every bit helps. Remember, subscribe to our channel or follow it so that you can get the announcements for when the next matches are upcoming. Because I think right now the next match is, look here,
Tonight in 3 hours, Team
Yep,
Solar Feed
3
versus
hours from
Cassius
now.
Shop, which I totally forgot to change the stream title. Now that I just realized, and it's set for the game tonight and not as the Asian recap. But that's okay.
whatever. Tune in back in 3 hours. Watch Jirachi feed.
Oh no, Chris
Right.
is feeding this week.
No,
And
right.
also,
Chris is
right
feeding
before we
this week.
leave, these tier list and the plays of the week, OP5s, everything, we were just talking about it as a representers. But if you have any suggestion or thoughts, you can leave us a comment on YouTube video or just follow us on Twitch and comment with us during the live stream as well. We want to know your opinion. This isn't very set in stone kind of thing.
This is not the official opinion of the PMALCS. This is
Exactly.
the opinion of 3 guys who don't really know what they're talking about, so it's okay.
We need
I
your
mean-
opinion.
We're Asian, so we know everything.
This is actually, yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Except how to
Piper.
read.
Except Piper,
Except Piper, but he's just joining us.
which that's why he's just a circle with white in it. And that's
I'm
it.
just here. I'm just here to offer insight on things that Asians don't know, like failing.
You right.
Okay then.
All right. So, anyways, I think we're gonna end it here. Thank you for tuning in. This is Fleeing Panda.
This
Elucida.
is Jirachi.
Well, I was gonna say my name after Rich. Oh, you come on, come on. We had this, guys. We
Oh my
rehearsed
God.
this.
Just
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
we did
Piper.
not do- Right. So, thanks for tuning in.
thanks for tuning into this train
And-
wreck. Good night, guys.
Subscribe and follow our channel, and have a good night, everyone.